what if I told you that there is a way that you can be comfortable in every uncomfortable situation without changing anything in your personality or your preferences? So this is something that I've been practicing for the past year. The entire year, I practiced to be comfortable in every uncomfortable situation I was in, which got me to some shocking results. But the way that I'm going to do it is, I'm going to go through three practical points that you can do starting from now. The first one, I'm going to show you what it is. The second one, I'm going to show you how to do it and how I did it. And the third one, I'm going to give you a secret of mine. Okay, so the first thing that you have to understand is that uncomfortable situations will happen to you in your life if you want it or not, which is the truth. Like, if you want to be in comfortable situation all the time, you probably are not living. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, I don't give a fuck, okay, that's one. But like, I'm not saying that you're not living, but the only people that don't get into uncomfortable situations are not the people that are living with us. Okay, so the way I want you to comprehend this is that uncomfortable situations are something that is inevitable. Okay, and especially if you want to achieve dreams, you want to have all of these aspirations and goals and resolutions that you make every year. If you want to actually achieve them, you might as well be ready. Be ready for what? Be ready to be in uncomfortable situations. You know, I've always had this question in mind. I was like, okay, you see every famous person, they all are in uncomfortable situations. I'm not talking in the stage, like sure, I can practice that. But what about media? Stalking them every time. What if them are walking on the streets and people recognizing them? It's something that is uncomfortable. You probably are not wearing the best of clothing or something, and someone is recognizing you. You are from that video, you look like shit now. But in that video you look awesome. How did you do that? Your feelings will be screwed. Okay, if you make videos online, you will get people hating on you. If you do whatever it is, you want to become a business owner, you want to do this, you want to do that, you will get into uncomfortable situations, right? Because why? Because it's social life. You have to be social in order for you to get the stuff that you want. Because if you do this everything alone, you are limiting yourself, and that's why Steve Jobs said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with people. And look, I can go all day long about how you have to be with other people and how you have to get them to be with you on your way. So I'm not going to speak about that. But what I want you to comprehend, the essence of it, is that you cannot go alone. And that's why probably, like, you have people right now around you. Your family, your friends, your colleagues, your teammates, your co-workers. Why is that? Because one alone cannot do everything. Otherwise, like, you will see the best people in the world, like the most successful, Elon Musk doing everything on his own. He doesn't. He never did. Right? You always having these people that are smarter than him, that are more experienced, that have more knowledge, more specified knowledge, more experience. And he gets them and he was like, you know what? You're joining my team. You're not. I hire you and let's work on this together. Right? Which calls hiring talents. Awesome. So this is more of I try to cover more than an aspect. I just try to cover like the dreams, entrepreneurial, business aspects, even social life, daily life, whatever it is. So the thing that I want you to comprehend is that in order for you to be yourself, you will be uncomfortable, at least at first. And you have to. So at some point in your life, you will get used to do stuff that are uncomfortable for you. Okay? So you might as well do it now. You're going to do it eventually. So you might as well do it now. Because you cannot just go through life with being always in the comfortable shoe. Right? Like in the classroom, you see people staying in the front row. It's not in the same level as staying in the back row. Right? And look, I don't give a fuck about what people say on social media about how the nerd sits in the first. It's not that. It's the brave people that are ready to get out of their comfort zone sits in the front, confronting the teacher. I'm not afraid. right? People get scared when the teacher asks questions. What they don't know is that they're all at the same level. And the teacher is not expecting you to know all the answers. In fact, he's expecting you to not know most of the answers. But he will give you pressure because he wants to push you for you to learn more. People are so scared that they cannot even do these simple things. And look, if you're not in school, it's the same thing with coworkers. It's the same thing with work environment. People see their managers, they cowered out. They go there, they go back there, they go to the bathroom, they do the other stuff. The supervisor just comes next to you, you're all of a sudden stressed. No, it's an uncomfortable situation, and guess what? That's what builds you. So the thing which is tricky with this, and I had a personal story with this, which is saying no. Saying no and confronting people and say like, go fuck yourself. Something that I had so struggled that it cost me 1 year of my life. Most people don't know this. So 3 years back, I was doing these YouTube videos and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people that were actually annoying me in my personal life. So people that I knew, they were taking the credits of everything that I did. Out of respect, or out of cowardice, I call it, I never mentioned what they're doing wrong. I was like, you know what? Sure, I have to be respectful for everyone who supports me, whatever. The point is that they were screwing me more than they are actually helping me. They were just taking the credits of my work, which sucks. And they were saying it out loud. And they were always saying it repeatedly every time they met me. I'm like, I'm not doing it for you to give me a like. I'm doing it for me. I have my own reasons. I have responsibilities. I have my life. I have this. You are not on my list at all, in fact. Which actually had a deep effect on me. But most people, most certainly, they didn't know. But this thing lasted with me, and I didn't know that. Because once I entered college, nursing school, I was unable to say no. And I kind of knew that, but I never confronted it. So everyone asked me about something, I'm saying yes, because I was afraid to lose friendships. Right? Because prior to that, I had that situation where I didn't have friends sucks. I didn't want to go back. So I was like, yes. Everything you ask me, I'm going to say yes because I want to have friends. Wrong. Don't do that. Say no all the time, which is what I kind of spoiled a little bit. But the thing is I was saying yes until this day that the wrong thing was presented to me because I was afraid to lose this friend, right? And I said yes. Guess what? It costed me 1 year of my life. Misery, crying, pain, not to me, not just to me and my career, but also to my family and everyone I know. Don't wait until you get to the point that I'm speaking about. Don't wait until you got hit in the face for you to change your behavior. Just do it now. Right? And the reason why it's good to read books and every successful entrepreneur reads books is because they show you this and you learn from other people's experiences. And one of the best books that I read about talking about this is actually the 4-Hour Workweek. It has this section, even if you don't want to read the book, you can just search this, it will pop up. There's this section, it's called Actionable Steps. After each chapter, there's 4 or 7 or whatever, that will give you uncomfortable challenge that you can do that will sit you up out of the comfort zone. One of them is saying no to everything, which is what I did to get out of this situation, is that instead of saying yes and no to certain stuff, which I was not doing, I was saying yes to everything, I started doing the opposite. I was saying no to everything without giving a single excuse. Hey, do you want to go with me to watch the football? No. No explanation. Nothing. People felt uncomfortable, but guess what? It's better than getting suspended for 1 year. When I was there crying, my mother was crying, nobody was with me. So, go screw yourself. I don't care about your feelings. I'm going to say no every time. right? And now I actually say way more no's than yes. I say no all the time. And at some point, people that are around you that you deal with most of the time, your colleagues, your classmates, they already expect you to say no. So if something they know that you probably are not gonna say yes, they will just not present it to you or ask you in the first place, right? And in the 4-hour work week, it actually talks about this and how there's a sales manager that did the same thing, and people just stopped asking them. And the part of this is also being able to go into conflicts, which is something that I also didn't have the ability to. But the point, like, you understand that to reach the goals that you want, you have to be comfortable getting into conflicts. Like, what? Come to me, bro. I want you to come to me. I want conflicts. Give me the conflicts. Because once I analyzed myself and I analyzed the people that are successful in my life, in my age, like the people that studied with me and stuff like that, I was like, what made her go to the best school in the country? Well, it's like there's 4 people that I know in my life that got there, like in my classroom, that I studied, like hundreds of them. What made her? And one of the things, it was like she was always in drama. I was like, okay, well, that's one thing, but that's weird, right? But the thing that actually gave me the light about it was the Elon Musk book. You hear Elon Musk book and you start reading and you're like, the guy is always in drama and he loves drama all the time. The entire book is just drama. He's fighting, conflicting with others. And he has even this story with a spouse or a wife he has where people were hearing him when they had like conflicts. They would be in a coffee shop or a restaurant. They will shout at each other. People can hear them from outside. If he's Elon Musk and does that, and he was not Elon Musk that we know right now, it's like 20 years ago or something, it's probably something or more. It's probably something that is worth getting note, right? Write it down. Drama, well, that's something new, right? Which always are always interconnected. And I think part of it is also just be comfortable with uncomfortable situations, which is all what is this video about. So what I'm trying to explain to you here is uncomfortable situation is something that is inevitable. That's one. 2, successful people exist in those uncomfortable situations pretty much 100% of the times. 3, because most of the stuff that you have to do in order for you to get what you want are basically uncomfortable. Otherwise, everyone will do them. Because the definition of success, the literal definition, is doing the stuff that other people are unable or afraid to do. Which means they can't or they won't do it. It's the same thing. Unable, they are not able to do it or they are afraid to do it. So can't or won't. Okay, so whether that's being unable, so you have to do something that everyone is unable to do, that's uncomfortable just off the bat. This other thing which is afraid, even more comfortable. So you have to do it in spite of your fear. And that's why something like MMA, fighters, boxing, all of that, people respect them too much because they fight in spite of their fear. Despite of their fear, they do what they have to do. And the same thing is applicable for you and in every industry. Like in school, I'm going to give you a basic example just for you to comprehend. In school, the people that wins are the people that are comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? You always see them, the first in the class. He's sitting in the front row. There's a presentation. He's doing the presentation. It's not about the skills that he has. It's just about he's comfortable with the uncomfortable situation because he's presenting himself to all of the criticism of everyone, of the teacher, stuff like that. But guess what? It's inevitable. Like he knows that the future he will have to do 10,000 times more uncomfortable stuff. So he might as well do this now because it's just like some crappy little thing. So when he gets to those things, at least he has the practice. Okay, now you understand the importance of it, of being comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know how it's actually very important. I'm going to explain to you how to break through, okay? How to break through with being always comfortable is not what you hear through TikTok videos, Instagram reels, because it's not something that you can say in 3 sentences. Okay? So people always love those one-liners, and I can give it to you. Be uncomfortable, and that's it. You have to get used to me to be always uncomfortable, but give me actionable steps. What do you mean by that? I'm going to give you the best signification that I found, which is based on the book, The 4-Hour Workweek. There is actionable steps after each chapter. I'm going to recite to you a few of them. So the first one that I found was, you have to look in the eyes of other people. Let me explain. You see, when you're walking outside and there's that eye contact that you have with other people, never be the first person to take your eyes out. Never be. Always be the last person to take your eyes out. And here's why. One, it will help you to get uncomfortable. So you get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's one. The other thing is like, you will just get used to that. Eye contact is very important. But the point of it is just being uncomfortable. And obviously there's a few tricks like blink for you to not make it as if you're staring at someone and you don't get beaten up or get into troubles, as well as you can easily make it into focusing on one eye. So that's make it natural. And of course it's easier if you're hearing. Someone is talking and you're hearing, that should be like the easiest. The best way to do it is actually to look at the eyes of people that are higher than you. So if there's someone that is higher than you, more powerful, has more power, right? More dominant than you, look at him in the eye. Blink to just not make it very not build the tension, but look at him in the eye. That will make you uncomfortable. Like at first it will seem like crazy. You'll feel like you're getting into a fight each time you look at something, at someone. But look, from my experience, I've been doing this for at least 1 year now. For 1 year, I always do. It's really easier. Like now, I just have it as something that I do all the time. Looking, the teacher, I'm in the front row. I'm looking at his eyes, you know, and that's what it is. Where most people, once they look, like the teacher looks at them, they look down. And I'm just giving the teacher as an example. It's the same thing with co-workers and everything. Okay, so that's one. The actionable step number 2, which is saying no to everything. This alone, I think, off the bat, will put you up to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Because saying no to everything, like at least, look, for the next 2 days, say no to everything. Here's why. When you say no, a situation will be made that is uncomfortable. And it's not only that, because look, if you always said yes and all of a sudden you said no, people will backfire sometimes. You always say yes. How dare you say no? And guess what? It's your natural right to say no whenever you want. Because get this rule, it helped me a lot, especially at the first few months that I did this. Every time someone asks you for something, they expect you to say no. And the same thing goes for you. Like, have you ever gotten mad that you asked someone for a pen and he said no? Probably not. Because you expected him to say no. If I'm going to tell you, hey, sorry, can you give me your phone? I just need to call someone real quick. I expect you to say no, right? And look, if you're an entrepreneur in the sales business, salesperson, whatever, and you have this problem, dude, like never say yes again. I'm telling you. Don't do this for 2 days. Do it for 2 months, 2 years, something like that. Because it's very important. Like, as a salesperson, you have to expect people to say no. Okay, so you ask someone, hey, do you want to buy this thing from me? You expect them to say no. right? And your job is literally to deal with the no. It's not to ask. It's to deal with the no, to deal with the objections, to deal with the obstacles. So if you have a problem saying no yourself, that means you're not going to be a good salesman, because you can't deal with it when people say no to you. And the other thing is that sometimes you have to say no as a salesperson. If you tell him that I'm going to sell this phone with $100 and he's like, yo, I'm going to give you $30, you have to say no, right? At least if you're a good salesperson. Okay, now good. Now you understand what's the importance of being comfortable with the uncomfortable. You have an idea about how to actually break through and break free. Now I'm going to give you a secret of mine that I found. I love this quote from Alex Hormozi. I really love this quote from Alex Hormozi. He says, the life that you want to, or your dream life, is one conversation away. Which means there is a hard conversation that you have to take, or sometimes few conversations, like 3 conversations, are very hard that you have been putting off, that they are the barrier between you and your dream life. And it just sets you in a different mental state, right? Because you get used to uncomfortable conversations. And I'm pretty sure that it's also something that Elon Musk uses when he goes through his life. When you read his PayPal story, you understand that he was always in conflicts and he was always getting into those hard conversations, even when they literally all made that scenario where they made another person a CEO instead of him while he was on a vacation. He went there and he confronted them and he did what he has to do, the hard conversations that he has to make. And the same thing goes recently with Twitter. He goes to the employees and tell them, like, here's what I want, here's what it is. And he's known right now, people call him evil for firing people, which is, look, it's uncomfortable, right? And when you see Elon Musk doing it for the past 30 years, you probably should do it too. Subscribe.